Hello, Tori. This is Ray, and I want to thank you for giving me a call back and possibly doing yet another website with me. I don't recall exactly the domain of the previous website that I set up for you. I do so many hundreds that I can't remember all of the domains. But I do remember that you did something along the lines of, I believe it was auto financing and car sales. So you're doing credit repair now, and if you want, uh, it is possible to put everything under one umbrella. For example, if you look here, this is a website I made for funded home loans. Local gentleman, he does home loans, mortgages. This is his website that I made for him. You can see it's a very nice looking website. One thing you'll notice is that all of the graphics are related towards the topic at hand, which is home loans. And I also did another website for him, which is funded auto loans. So you can see that the branding is really very much the same. I have the same layout that I'm using, but completely different content, different images. But you can see that it's under the same funded corporation umbrella. And the reason he did that is because he wanted his customers, if he ever wanted to refer them to, for example, auto loan service, and he wants to tell them that he is the same service provider for both funded home loans and funded auto loans, it makes sense because they'll see that there is a similar type of branding and layout. So we can do the same thing with yours. I remember your previous website was auto loans and auto sales, I believe. So it wouldn't be far-fetched to put this under the same umbrella if you still do currently have that previous website online. I know it was several years ago that we set that up for you. One thing that I noticed here is that this website is very, for lack of a better word, very bland, very boring. This logo here, this logo should be something a little more eye-catching. I want to show you a logo I made for a gentleman. I did a credit repair website many, many years ago, Teamwork Credit Club. This is the logo that I made for them. And you can see that this is the logo I made for funded auto loans, funded home loans. This is the logo I made for a local legal services provider, On Point Legal Services. And you can see that logos, here's another logo I made for a Hypnosis First website. Logos should be colorful. They should be eye-catching. That's really one of the first impressions your website is going to make is the logo. And this is just simply a text logo. There really is no pizzazz to it. Also, the slideshow here, I know that this is nitpicky, but these are the little touches that really, really make a difference. These images aren't very good quality images. The need tax assistance, I don't understand why this is so incredibly small. The headlines for each of these slides should be much larger. You don't necessarily, it's very poor practice to have a slideshow and then have the text that accompanies the slideshow to be so incredibly small it's barely visible. What I like to do when I do slideshows is I like to have the text on slideshows to be larger. For example, this is a screenshot of Sacramento, a bridge in Sacramento, serving the Sacramento area. And then you'll see another slideshow here, reliable and effective legal services. That's how your slideshow should be set up. The text should be larger across the image so that it really stands out to the website visitor and makes a statement. That's why you have these here, is to make a statement. Also, I noticed that the slideshow is not the proper size. It's very poor layout to have a gray area behind the slideshow where the rest of your website is white. Because to me, it just simply, the first impression I get is they couldn't find images large enough to cover the top header. And so all of this gray area is just wasted space. What I would do is I would completely ditch this slider. I'd start completely from scratch. I'd use images that are larger to go across the screen. That way I can also make the headlines for each slide much larger. You'll notice on my headlines, you'll notice that on my sliders, the sliders go across pretty much the entire space of the website. Okay? And that's just really good layout design. You don't want too much dead space. So you can see on my slideshows that's what I do, especially on this as well. It's all going pretty much across the entire span of the header area. And also, if there is any background to the slider, the background should be the same color sequence, the same style sheet as the rest of the website. You have gray area here in the top, and then the rest of the website is white. If you insist on keeping this slideshow the way it is, I would turn this white. It just really is poor design this way. It looks like a slideshow that wasn't really finished, or that whoever set this up didn't go through the trouble of finding the proper size images. You can see same thing here with this slideshow. This is a website I'm working on for a local dispensary. And you can see on this slideshow as well, it goes across pretty much the entire span of the website. Okay, and again, logos should always be a little bit more eye-catching and not just simple text. Another thing, this privacy policy should be down at the bottom. That's where the privacy policy should be. This top area should only be for links to other pages of your website that have actual content. Privacy policy page, that's always at the bottom. That's just rule of thumb. And also, this here, all of your testimonials here, it's very daunting to the eye to see all of this text in this bottom area. And the reason you've made it so small is because you're trying to fit so much in this area. Therefore, you have to make the font very small. This is a website I'm working on for another customer, and let me show you what I've done with their testimonials. I've taken their testimonials and I've put it in a slider so that each testimonial is by itself, and they can go through one by one and read all of the client remarks. And instead of doing what you're doing here, which is trying to squeeze 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 testimonials and all of this text into this small area, if you were to do, for example, a slider of your testimonials in this area, you could show one at a time, allowing you to make the font larger and easier to read. And also another benefit is it just looks much better. It's a much more modern and eye-catching way of showcasing your testimonial. So I would ditch this area, and instead of having all your testimonials here, just do a one-by-one testimonial, so that you could not only make it easier for the person to read by making the font larger, it just looks better. Another thing that I noticed is that your images aren't really very related to credit repair. If you look at the websites I do, one thing you'll notice is every single image I use has to be related to that website, to that topic. So whether it's for hypnosis CDs, or whether it's for legal services, whether it's for home loans, whatever the case might be, for example, auto repair, you want to use images that are related to that topic. So I would sprinkle some more images here, maybe put an image here under About Us. Services, I would have another image here, like maybe a credit application with a big stamp that says denied on it. And also, sometimes this is getting a little nitpicky, but all these little details add up to a much better looking site. You have 4 columns here. The text on each column should end exactly at the right place. So I would shorten this, and I would maybe add a couple more words here so that all of these columns end on the same line. It just really looks much more uniform. When you look at a website, you get an impression right off the bat. And when you see something like this where this last column goes on longer than the other three, and then this one is shorter than these two, it just really looks terrible. Testimonials, you could use a graphic here, like a happy couple smiling in front of their first home that they got because of your credit repair. Instead of testimonials, use an image like that. Also, you want to have I see here you have education and tips. A lot of text here. When I see a lot of text on a website, the first thing that jumps out is the word boring, is the word unfinished. I would put some more text here related to credit repair. Why not, for example, instead of having it here like this, why not do something like this like I have here? So for example, here where you have keep track of your spending, and then you have this text here, and then you have don't exceed your credit limit on lines of credit and credit cards, and then you have this text following. Why not make the title something like this, where you have the title and then you click and you read the remainder of the text? That way everything is kept nice and neat. There isn't a bunch of text slapped on a web page. So what I would do is I would make these toggles. That's what these are called. These are called toggles, where you click on a line of text and more text drops down. So I would completely redo this page, turn all of this into toggle content, where if you click on keep track of your spending, the rest of the text drops down. That way you don't have a bunch of text on this site. And then you could split this site into two columns. You could have all of this information set up in toggles like I have here. Okay? And then on the right side, why not make a graph showing the actual difference in dollars of what people pay with good credit and what people pay with bad credit? And here's what I mean. You want to really emphasize the benefit of going with your service. And for example, a slight change in your FICO score of, say, 15 points on the average home loan could be a difference of several hundred a month. A slight boost in your FICO score could take your car payment from, say, $400 a month down to $250 or $300. And I could make these graphics for you. A lot of times if you're using a website developer, you got to make sure you use a website developer that's a good graphic artist, so they can make custom graphics, because otherwise they're very limited on what they have available to them. I would make a chart here that says what you pay with, for example, credit score of 700 on the average $20,000 auto loan, and what you pay with a credit score of 650 on a $20,000 auto loan over 5 years. Because in your prospect's mind, all of this text isn't as much of an impact as seeing, for example, wow, just boosting my credit score 20 points could mean an extra $200 a month savings, where, over 5-year auto loan is several $1,000s, and even more on a home loan. So what I would do, education and tips, I would turn this into toggle content, freeing up a lot of space to put some graphics here of what you're going to pay based on your FICO score, and use a difference of a slight, say, 20-point difference what person A pays and person B pays, with a slight 20-point difference, because images really make much more impact in your prospect's mind than a lot of text. Contact us. I don't particularly like this contact form. I would rather have a contact form that makes life easier for you. What's your name? What's your email? What's your current income? What's your current amount of debt that you have? Are you currently owning or renting your home? What are your financial goals? How soon do you want to get started on credit repair? You could make this contact form much more detailed, so that when you get the information, you really have all the tools at hand to call that person and intelligently talk to them about their needs. Let me go here, for example, and show you Contact Atkins. I want to show you this contact form I set up, all right, for this customer. I'm still working on this site. But look what happens here. If you click on schedule to bring in your appointment, look at all the information I have on their form. What's their model of their car, make of their car? What's their model? What's their year? What's the service they need? You should have more information here just to make life easier for you, so that when somebody goes here, they can give you more information so that you can talk to them a little more intelligently. Just name, email, and number. I mean, what does that tell you? Also, what I would do is I would set up a customer management area so that when you do get somebody for credit repair, you could, once they sign up, give them a link to the customer management area. We could make that password protected, and you could have all the necessary forms that every single one of your customers need for credit repair right there, ready for them to download. And furthermore, that customer management area is a way for you to give them progress updates on their credit repair as it progresses. That makes life very, very easy for you. So you're not taking phone calls and emails all day from people saying, hey, what's going on? What's the latest update? Everybody has their own customer management area, and every time an inquiry is taken off or a delinquent mark is removed from their credit repair, you don't have to send them an email or give them a call. Just update their customer management area, update their page. They'll get an email instantly letting them know that there's been new progress on their credit repair, and to log on and see the progress without having to call you, without having to email you. And it just makes for a smoother process. That's actually what I've done for several different customers in the real estate business. I did this for a customer that actually is a property manager with several dozen properties, and he wanted a way to be able to update his customers on any activity on their properties without having to make phone calls and emails. And you do that by simply setting up a customer area. You update your website for each customer specifically on the progress of their credit repair, and every time you make an update to their page, they get an email saying, hey, there's been a new update to your credit repair. Log on and see for yourself. They don't have to call you or email you, and that just makes life easier for you. So that's another thing that I would add to this credit repair website. So to recap, change your logo, change this slideshow, expand it from left to right. That way you're not seeing all this dead space here. Get rid of this privacy policy that's not needed. That goes down here. Get rid of these testimonials, and instead of these testimonials being here, use a slider and just display one testimonial at a time. That way you're not having to try to squeeze in 5 testimonials in all this text and then having to make the font so very small. I would also get rid of this bottom area here. It can be about a quarter of the size it is now. This is just a lot of dead space. And also sprinkle some additional images. Make your points through images. Instead of saying how much money they could save by simply boosting their credit score, show them. Show them by having a side-by-side comparison of a person with a 650 credit score and a person with a 700 credit score, and what they're paying every month for that difference in the average car loan for 5 years or the average 30-year mortgage. I'm sure in being in the business, you've seen such graphics. You know what I'm talking about. Same thing with education and tips. Like I mentioned, get rid of all this text. You know, the psychology of sales, you know, people are very lazy. When somebody comes on your website and they see all of this text, it really turns them off. But when they, instead of seeing all this text, see something like I have set up here, which is just a few topics, you decide what you want to read, click on it, and it drops down. Not only does that look less intimidating, it frees up the rest of this page for graphics. Again, you make your points through images because pictures speak 1,000 words. And, you know, other than that, I would just spruce up the website visually a little bit, which you know that I can do for you. So I appreciate the time in allowing me to give you this review. I would have no problem at all making a much better website for you, and I would appreciate the opportunity to do so. Thank you so much.